So it's been an eventful year this year, and I want to say thank you to you guys, because I'm relatively new to YouTube, actually very new. I think I've only been doing this about 6 months, and it's been going okay. I mean, I've got quite a few subscribers now, over 2,000, which is really, really nice. And I love to read your positive comments, guys. You know, Kushal, Steve, Bruce, Mark, Harold, just off the top of my head, I mean, there's a lot of people that leave really nice comments regularly. And it's really nice to see that. And thanks a lot, guys. I wish you all, and everybody who watches, of course, Happy New Year and a peaceful and prosperous 2023. So in the coming weeks, folks, I'm going to be doing videos about Danang and Saigon, how they both compare, pros and cons. There's a lot that I want to go into. I want to give it another couple of weeks of living here before I go into like an in-depth comparison about the two cities. But initially, very, very different, and more different than I was expecting, actually. A lot more different. And one of the things I will say is, like, Danang is like, it's almost been stuck in a time warp. I lived here about 8 or so years ago for a year, and all the new buildings aside, it's exactly the same. It's like nothing has really changed at all. So, you know, that can be both good and bad. Progress is slow in Vietnam, but I think that's the way a lot of people like it. One thing I'm loving about Danang so far is this kind of wide sidewalk for cycling and walking. It's really nice to be able to get off the busy roads and to cycle somewhere a little safer. Hey, come on. Good job, he's got a helmet on, most people don't here. So it's one thing that has really kind of struck me about being in Danang is the driving. Like, the driving is terrible. And I mean, and that's coming from someone who's lived in Vietnam for 8 years and in Saigon for 5 years and cycled all over the country. Driving in Danang is really, really bad, especially car drivers. Like, just people literally driving the wrong way down the street in cars as well as motorbikes, stopping in the middle of the road to answer their phone or to text. I've driven past people here on their motorbikes playing games. Like, I drove past some lady on a Honda Lead yesterday, and she was playing Candy Crush. It's like a little game on her phone while she was driving in the traffic, and it just blows your mind. Like, I used to do some training in Dơ Ray Hospital, the biggest hospital in the south of Vietnam, and where we did the training was below the trauma ward, the A&E for burns, and we used to see so many road traffic accidents coming in every day. People, like, their skin just gone because they've been, you know, thrown along the road and scraped off all their skin down to the bone. And we see so many accidents. And I can only imagine it's probably pretty similar up here, if not worse, because the traffic here is less dense, so people drive at a much greater pace. Whereas in Saigon, the traffic is a lot more dense, but they tend to drive a lot slower. So you're able to stop, able to anticipate a little bit more. But here, I mean, people just absolutely fly, and you got no chance. So just approaching the Dragon Bridge now, folks. Very famous landmark in Danang, in Vietnam actually. So if you Google Dragon Bridge Danang, you'll probably see a lot of videos and photos of it breathing fire. So at night time, a couple of times a week, they actually fire it up and it breathes. And it shoots out fire from the front here. Always worth a look if you're in town. So there we go, Dragon Bridge Danang. So there's numerous bridges over the Han River in Danang, and then on this side where I'm going now is the city side. either side of the bridge is considered the beach side. Most foreigners, expats, prefer to live beachside, from what I can see, for obvious reasons. Although it is much cheaper if you live city side. For me at the moment, if I live over here, I may as well stay in Saigon. Not a huge difference, right? If I come to Danang, then I want to be near the beach. So this is Bach Dang, next to the river, quite a famous tourist street. All these bars along here, you've got Bamboo, Dude Bar. They all kind of get packed most nights of the week. There used to be a really infamous bar here called the Golden Pine. I don't know if it's still going. It's kind of be that place where everyone ends up at like whatever time in the morning. I'm a bit old for those kind of antics now, but never say never. This time of year is quite popular for year-end parties in Vietnam, so Tet holiday is coming in about two weeks or so. And pretty much all companies in Vietnam really kind of splurge and splash out on their staff once a year, have these huge parties, kind of the equivalent to a Christmas party in the West, but they really do it in style here, especially the bigger companies. And they often come to Danang on the Trang or Vung Tau, pay for their staff for 1 or 2 nights in a nice hotel, and then go a bit crazy. Unfortunately, I missed my year-end party this year because I was moving. But it's not that popular in the West, right? Like when I used to live in the UK, most people just kind of didn't bother with Christmas party. They were like, not really that interested. Just wasn't really that much of a thing. But here, it is seen as a big thing. Got the Marriott here on the left and the Hilton a little bit further up. So a couple of nice 5-star properties on Bach Dang Street. And of course the ubiquitous Starbucks, but no McDonald's yet. So I'm really enjoying having these nice wide open boulevards to cycle and walk along. Just don't get this really in Saigon. Or it's very few and far between down there. Same in the Trang. The Trang actually probably even nicer, the beach boulevard there. But I'll take this, no worries. These are all the river cruise boats. You can go out for dinner. I haven't actually seen these around operating yet. Maybe I would have thought because it's low season they'll be tied up, and then once June, July comes along, these boats will be out every night, ferrying passengers along the river. I'll have to check it out one day. Not sure what this building is here. It looks pretty interesting, but closed at the moment. Another COVID casualty. So in my opinion, an e-bike like this is the perfect transport solution for a city like Danang. It's not a big city, it's not too busy, and with a bit of electricity between your legs, you can get anywhere really quick. So it'll be interesting to see if people start to adopt electric bikes like they have in China, in cities like Danang. The only negative, I suppose, is the weather. It's a little bit wet. It's very wet. And summertime is pretty hot. But it's just so convenient. I can put my shopping on this bike. I can get to pretty much anywhere in the city in 10-15 minutes. I can even avoid any small traffic jams by using the boulevard or filtering along the side of the road. So back over the Dragon Bridge now, folks. Maybe I'll join this gang of cyclo guys. Man, that's one hell of a workout doing that all day. Super fit.